Hi everyone. Today we will discuss about strain gauge and types of strain gauges. In this class, we will see what is strain gauge and what is the purpose of strain gauge, why we measure strain by using different types of strain gauges, and also we can see types of strain gauges. There are different types of strain gauges. So what is that different types of strain gauges for measuring the strain? In before class, we will see about the introduction of stress and strain gauges. We are using different types of strain gauges to measure strain in different areas. Those have different applications uh, used for the strain gauges. So in that strain gauges, there are different types and the working is different for the types of strain gauges. First of all, we can see what is strain gauge and what are the different types of strain gauges and what is the working of that strain gauges. We can see. Okay, so in that before class we will see about the strain gauges, what is a stress and what are the different types of stresses, and what is a strain, what are the different types of strain. We will see in briefly about that types of strains with examples, and also what is the relation between the stress and strain diagram. We will discuss it in before class also. Okay, today we will see about what is strain gauge and what are the different types of strain gauges. What is strain gauge? The strain gauge is a passive resistive transducer which converts the mechanical elongation and compression into a resistance change. We can apply any pressure or any loads or any force on that area. So in that area, I am fixing this type of strain gauges. The elongation is occurred. The elongation is occurred. So in that elongation, in that forces are acting on that strain gauge. So the mechanical energy should be converted into electrical energy. So the mechanical energy, it is converted to the electrical resistance of the strain gauge. By using that electrical resistance, we can calculate the strain of that particular area. We can see what is the example of that strain gauge. I will explain a small amount example. What is strain gauge? Suppose it is a road. It is a road. So the vehicles running on this road. The vehicles are running on this road. So one particular area, suppose it's a weak area or any type of a strongest area, I am fixing this strain gauge setup. I am fixing this strain gauge setup. This strain gauge setup, it is very small, small sizes. These strain gauges are fixed in this area. Okay, so I am fixing this strain gauge in this area, this particular area. So the vehicles are running on this road. The vehicles are running on this road. Okay, so whenever we apply the load on this um, road, automatically the strain gauge is fixed on this road. The load is also effect on this strain gauge. So the load is effects on this strain gauge. Okay, it is the road. I am applying force in this direction. The strain gauge is fixed in this area. The strain gauge is fixed in this area. It is the strain gauge. The strain gauge is fixed in this area. So the grid is placed. The grid is placed in the strain gauge. Okay. So whenever we apply the force on that strain gauge or any type of area, it should be compressed or tensile. So the forces are different types of forces acting on that area. That is, the tensile forces are acting, or compressive forces are acting on the constant forces, are different types of forces are acting on that area. For suppose, for example, the compressive forces are acting on that area. Compressive forces. When the compressive force acting on this element, automatically it should be compressed like this. It should be compressed like this. Okay. So in this area, I will connect a strain gauge. I will connect a strain gauge. So the strain gauge is also compressed. The strain gauge is also compressed. It has a elastic nature. Whenever we apply the force on that area, it should be compressed, or tensile forces are acting on that area. It should be the mechanical energy is converted into the electrical resistance of that strain gauge. Electrical resistance is developed in that strain gauge. Okay, it is also elongated when the tensile forces are acting. When the tensile forces are acting, the strain gauge is also elongated. The strain gauge is also elongated because the length is changed. The length is changed. Okay, so based upon this working principle, the strain gauge is working. The strain gauge is working. So the strain gauge is a passive resistance transducer which converts the mechanical elongation and compression into a resistance change. Whenever we apply the forces on that strain gauge, it should be elongated. If the forces are tensile forces, or constant forces, or compressive forces, any type of forces are acting on that strain gauge, it should be elongated. So in that elongation or compression, the mechanical stresses, the mechanical forces are converted into that strain gauge is electrical resistance. The electrical resistance is developed in that strain gauge. Okay. This change in resistance takes place due to variation in length and cross-sectional area of the gauge wire when an external force is acting on it. This change in resistance. So whenever we put a strain gauge, the strain gauge is constant position on that area. We are not applying any type of forces. The strain gauge, the electrical resistance is constant. The electrical resistance is not changed. Whenever we apply the forces on that area, automatically the strain gauge is also elongated. The strain gauge is also compressed. So in that compression area, in that elongation area, it should be developed the electrical resistance. The electrical resistance is developed in the force acting on that strain gauge. Okay, so the strain gauge have affected to that forces, automatically it will generate the electrical resistance. Based upon the resistance takes place due to the variation in length. The length of the strain gauge is varied because of it is elongated material. Okay, so the elongated material, whenever we apply the forces on that area, it should be compressed or tensile. It should be elongated. The length of the strain gauge should be varied. Okay, so in that cross-sectional area of the gauge wire, when an external forces are acting on that area, so the length of the strain gauge is varied. Automatically, it will generate the resistance. Automatically, it will generate the resistance, and the change in resistance is also occurred. The forces are acting on that strain gauge. Okay, so that is strain gauge. And next one, why to measure strain? Then why we measure strain? What is the purpose of strain? uh, why we measure strain? uh, if we do not measure strain, what type of disadvantages, what type of problems we can face in real life? Okay. Utility of strain measurement as a means of determining maximum stress value, or in specialized transducers to measure force, pressure, acceleration, torque. So these measurements of strain used in different areas. It is suppose transports, or aircrafts, or automobile vehicles, or um, pharma industries, or food industries, mechanical industries, any type of industries. We can take this measurement strain is very important. So the measurement of strain is very important due to the overload acting on that different instruments, or different vehicles, or different areas. So the overload should be calculated by using this strain measurement. Okay. So utility of strain measurement as a means of determining maximum stress value. The maximum stress value occurred on the automobile vehicles, or any type of instruments, or any type of areas, any type of industries. The maximum stress values occur. We can measure that maximum stress value by using these strain gauges. And also specialized in transducers. The special transducers are used to calculate, are used to measure the force, pressure, acceleration, torque. The maximum forces are acting on that body. If the maximum forces are acting on that instrument, or maximum forces are acting on that object, it should be broken. So we can calculate the maximum force of that instrument. So when we apply the forces on that object, only the limited, only if the breaking point, suppose the breaking point is 1000. So in that 1000 we are applying up to only 900 or 950. In that a amount of forces are acting in that amount of forces are acting on that object. We do not acting total amount of forces. Total maximum force is not applied on that object. Why? Because the total force are acting on that object, the object should be broken, the object should be, the instrument should be damaged. So in this purpose, the measurement of strain is used to measure the strain gauges are used to measure the strain of the different areas. Okay. And pressure, acceleration, torque. The maximum pressure and maximum acceleration and maximum torque should be calculated by using strain gauges. And next one, desirability to avoid the use of large factors of safety in the design of aircraft and automatic control equipment due to mass inertia consideration. Desirability of avoid to use the large factors of safety. So the safety precaution should be maintained in the aircraft and automatic control equipments. If the aircraft should be overloaded, or high amount of forces, high amount of loads are acting on that aircraft, so it should be blasted. Okay, it should be blasted, or any type of damages are occurred on that aircraft. So in this purpose, due to the overloads calculation, due to that high amount of pressures, or high amount of loads, high amount of forces should be calculating by using these type of strain gauges. And automatic control equipment, due to mass or inertia consideration, we will use the strain measuring instruments. And next one, necessity of experimental verification of strain in complex physical system, where strain can only be approximately estimated even with the most rigorous analytical methods. So necessity of experimental verification, the experimental verification of strain in complex physical systems. Physically, we are applying so much amount of loads, or so much amount of forces, different types of stresses are applied on that body. We can calculate this strain by using different types of instruments. Okay, so the approximately estimated even the most rigorous analytical methods. So the calculation methods, the calculation procedure is used to analyze the maximum forces are applying on that body. We can measure strain. Okay, so that is why to measure strain. And next one, what is the history of this strain? A brief history of strain gauge. In 1856, uh, Lord Kelvin first reported on a relationship between strain and the resistance of wire conductors. In 1856, Lord Kelvin first invented, and first he is doing an experiment, the relation between the strain and the resistance. We are applying different forces on that area, different type of object, different forces acting on that object. There is a relation between. If the force is acting on that body, in that force, that mechanical force is converted into electrical resistance. The electrical resistance is developed by using one instrument. That particular instrument is called strain gauge. Okay, so the mechanical forces are acting on that body. uh, we will place one instrument, that is a strain gauge. So we are applying mechanical forces on that strain gauge. Automatically that mechanical forces are taking in that strain gauge, and it develops electrical resistance. So that relation is invented in 1856, Lord Kelvin. And next one, in early 1930s, Charles Kahn made the first notable use of bonded resistance strain gauges to measure vibratory strains in high performance propeller blades. By using that propeller blades, a strain gauge is used. How much amount of force is developed, how much amount of loads are acting on that propeller blades, it should be calculated by using strain gauge. Okay, and next one, 1937 or 38, Arthur Roos discovered that a small diameter wires made of electrical resistance alloys could be bonded to the structure to measure surface strain. The surface strains are measured by using this electrical resistance strain gauges. It is invented in 1937 and 1938. In 1952, at this time, printed circuits were emerging, and Sanders Rowe developed the idea of making strain gauge by etching the pattern for the gauge from a tin foil. So in 1952, the printed circuits strain gauges are using to measure strain in different areas. So that is the history of the strain gauge. And next one, what is the structure of this strain gauge? The majority of strain gauges are foil types available in a wide choice of shapes and sizes. To suit a variety of application, they consist a pattern of resistive foil which is mounted on a baking material. You can observe the strain gauge, what are the different components are involved in this strain gauge, and what is the construction of this strain gauge. You can observe, you can see that diagram. uh, in that strain gauge there is a shoulder tabs. So in this shoulder tabs, it is converts the mechanical resistance into the mechanical forces into the electrical resistance is developed by using this shoulder tabs. And next one, end loops. End loops, these end loops are in the nature of elastic nature. The forces are applying on these end loops. Okay, and next one, the grid is placed. It is non-conductive material. It is the grid, actual grid length. So the grid length will be varied whenever we apply the forces on that object. Whenever we apply the different forces of this strain gauge, the length of the grid is varied. The grid length is varied. By this variation of this length, we can calculate electrical resistance. Okay, so in this have end loops, and next one, alignment marks. Alignment marks, and baking and encapsulation. Okay, so that is the overall thin material is placing on this strain gauge area. So those are the different components are assembled in that strain gauge. Okay, so that is the construction of strain gauge. They operate on the principle that as the foil is subjected to stress, the resistance of the foil changes in a defined way. So the operating principle, it is based upon the stress of the stress applied on the strain gauge. The high amount of stress applied on that strain gauge, the length of the grid is varied. When the low amount of stresses are acting on that strain gauge, only the grid length is varied. Only the small amount the small amount of length variation occurred in that strain gauge. Okay, so that working principle, the strain gauge is worked. And next one, what are the points to be taking to design the strain gauge? What type of points we are taking to design a strain gauge? What are the different properties should be maintained? What type of points we are taking? And what are the different measuring techniques to be taking to design a strain gauge? You can see there is extremely small size and negligible mass. The size of the strain gauge is very less. The size of the strain gauge is very less. It should be uh, maintained, and the mass is negligible. The weight of the strain gauge is negligible because of the weight. mm, the weight occurred on this strain gauge. They have some drawbacks on that working of that strain gauge. Okay, so in that design, extremely we can maintain the small sizes, and the mass is very negligible in that design of strain gauge. And next one, simple and easy attachment to the specimen under test. The strain gauge is designed, it is to simple attachment, simple connection to that object, simple connection to that equipment. Okay, simple and easy attachment to the specimen under testing position. And next one, good response in uh, good response in uh, unsown with the changes in the surface to which it is fixed. Good response, the quick response we should get by using this strain gauge. So in that strain gauge we can maintain a good electricity conductive material, and different types of material should be manufactured by this strain gauge. So we can select the material, it is very good quality material should be selected. In that good quality material it should be manufactured, the response is very good. And next one, non-interference with the stiffness and other characteristics of the member over which it is mounted. So non-interference with the stiffness and other characteristics member. So the strain gauge is mounted on the equipment, the strain gauge is mounted on the specimen, there is a non-interference or stiffness are occurred. Because the stiffness is very important on this strain gauge. The stiffness is lost, the stiffness is lost in that strain gauge, the strain gauge is damaged. Okay, so the stiffness is also very important to maintain a strain gauge. High sensitivity in the direction of measured strain, but low sensitivity in the transverse plane, and a high speed of response, negligible time lag. Okay, so capability to indicate static, transient, and dynamic strain, inexpensive, reliable, and readily available. These are the different points to be taking to design a strain gauge. What is the working principle of this strain gauge? The strain gauge is connected to a V-stone bridge circuit. The change in resistance is proportional to applied strain, and it is measured with a Wheatstone bridge. So it is a strain gauge. It is strain gauge setup. In this is suppose it is a specimen. It is specimen. Specimen. In this specimen, I will connect a strain gauge. I will connect a strain gauge in this specimen. So in this strain gauge, we have the grid. The grid length is varied. We are applying the forces on this strain gauge. Okay, so it is the strain gauge. So in this strain gauge, it is connected through the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge is connected. Okay, so whenever we apply the forces on this specimen, whenever we apply the stresses on this specimen, automatically, so automatically the strain gauge should be elongated. The strain gauge should also elongated. We are applying the stresses on this specimen. Okay, so in that elongation, in that compressive forces or tensile forces is taking the length of the grid. The length of the grid, it should be changed. The length of the grid should be changed. So the length of the grid is changed automatically. Uh, the resistance is developed by using this Wheatstone bridge circuit. The resistance is developed by using this Wheatstone bridge circuit. Okay, so in that resistance is developed, how much amount of voltage is developed in that Wheatstone bridge circuit, we can calculate by using a voltmeter. It is used to calculate the voltage developed in that equipment. Okay, so that is the working procedure of the strain gauge. And next one, the sensitivity of a strain gauge is described in terms of characteristic called gauge factor, defined as the unit change in resistance per unit change in length. The unit resistance change per unit change in length. So the change in resistance, it is occurred and it is between the change in length. The length of the grid is changed. The length of the strain gauge is changed. Automatically, the resistance is changed. Okay, the length of the grid is constant position. Automatically, the resistance is also in same position. The resistance is not changed. Whenever we apply the forces on that strain gauges, the length should be changed and automatically the resistance is also changed. So the gauge factor K is calculated. The gauge factor K is calculated. Change in resistance to the original resistance. Change in resistance delta R. That is original resistance R. Change in resistance to the original resistance by change in length to the original length. Change in length to the original length. So this means we can calculate the gauge factor K. Gauge factor K. So in that gauge factor, it is related to the Poisson ratio mu. K is equal to 1 plus 2 mu. K is equal to 1 plus 2 mu. We can calculate the gauge factor by using the Poisson ratios. Okay. And next one, what are the different types of strain gauges are used in different conditions? What are the different basic steps to be followed to measure strain in different areas? You can see what are the different methods of these strain gauges. It is based upon the principle of working. So the principle of working is changed automatically. The strain gauge is also changed. So based upon the working principle, the types of strain gauges is mechanical strain gauges, electrical strain gauges, piezoelectric strain gauges. And next one, based upon the mounting, bonded strain gauge, unbonded strain gauge. Based upon the mounting, bonded strain gauge and unbonded strain gauge. And next one, based upon the construction of the strain gauge. So foil strain gauge, semiconductor strain gauge, photoelectric strain gauge. These are the different types of strain gauges. Different types of strain gauges are used in based upon the methods of strain gauges. Okay. And next one, mechanical strain gauge. Mechanical strain gauge. So in this mechanical strain gauge, electrical strain gauge, piezoelectric strain gauge, these are the different methods of strain gauges. And next one, bonded of strain gauges, bonded strain gauge, unbonded strain gauge, foil strain gauge, semiconductor strain gauge, photoelectric strain gauge. Okay, so what are the selection of strain gauge and what are the selection procedure of this strain gauge? Advantages, disadvantages, and applications of this strain gauge we can see in next class. So these are the working and constructional of the strain gauge. In next class, we will discuss about the types of strain gauges, and that also the resistance working and construction and types of the electrical resistance strain gauge also discussed in next classes. So thank you guys.